Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 12 of the Grandparents
Woo!
Podcast. Woo!
Episode 12.
Episode 12. We are pumped. We are excited. We are so
3
thrilled.
months.
I know we've stuck to this. We've managed. We've somehow maintained this, which, to be honest, if I'm really being honest, it's actually not a surprise coming from me and Mousie, because when we say we're going to do something, we stick to it. Every project we've done so far, every project we've done together, every game we've played
That's
together, we
true.
always finish it through to the end. Aside from I think there's one co-op game we didn't quite finish because Eden came in the middle of it, and then
No, we did.
didn't get the chance to,
I think we did all the levels. We just didn't 3-star them.
Oh, right. Yes. That makes
So
sense.
we completed them. We just didn't 100% it.
Yes, which would have been our next goal. But
I will die on that hill.
You'll die on the hill.
Yes.
Fair choice. But yeah, today is a very special day because it's episode 12, which means it'll be the end of our first season. But as a heads up, don't fret. We'll come back with episodes in about 2 weeks or so after we've had a chance to take a little break. I'll have, back by that time, I'll have met Mousie for the first time, which will be very
NDAs
exciting.
will be signed.
Yeah, NDAs will be signed. No one will know what
Finally.
happened at the Good Kid concert in Chicago. Yep. No one will know. So if you're going and you're hearing this podcast, maybe you'll see us. That'd
or
be
if you're
kind of
going,
cool.
yeah, because this will come out right before. If you're going to my invention, myself, Lauren, Seth, Aaron, Gizzy, Digi will all be at my invention if you want to swing by. It's in North Carolina. And then Kano, Gabe, and I will be at the Good Kid concert on Monday night, the 8th. So if you see us around, or you see us just wandering around Chicago, downtown Chicago, don't be afraid to say hi.
Exactly. We'll say hi and be like, "Who's that?" Oh yeah,
because we're so famous, and there's definitely people out looking for us when we're going.
Totally, so many people.
So many things.
And speaking of famous people, today, because it's my episode, so I got to choose who I want to pick. And not that Mousie would have been opposed to this any other day, but I was like, I want to have someone special for today. And so I have invited my good pal, friend who I've done a YouTube channel with for over 5 years now at this point. But Rhino the Dragon is here with us for this podcast.
Only dragon.
Exactly.
Well, you first Brit on this podcast.
It's true. It's unfortunate.
That is true.
We would have had Tyser on maybe at some point in time before this because we thought about it, but he's too busy. So
yeah,
unfortunate. So you get to be here.
Yeah.
Well, you also said that you've kept up with this for like season 1. Just wait until season 2, Kano. That's when your timings start becoming hazy.
Oh, I see. Thanks.
Talk
about my consistency, because we start when we did Minecraft Lab, our project together, we were on it pretty consistently every time. And then once we weren't sure if we wanted to do second season, and then we kind of went into it. We knew we wanted to do it, and then it just kind of took forever. And then our finale episode came out a year after the other episode.
Literally me with Stardew. I did 1 season and then I stopped. But
it's the same with Royal Academy. Like we
didn't finish the first season.
We basically did 9 episodes, and then there was a pause, I think, for the 10th episode, and then there was no other episodes after that.
Yeah.
Rhino's jinxing us. Get him off the show.
I love how you're jinxing us, considering that those are both. Actually, you know what's the problem? You were both involved in those projects, or you were involved in both those projects. You aren't involved in this podcast.
Beef is starting, guys.
Wow,
Kano takes the reins.
Blame on me.
Oh, I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know if anyone knows about this, but most of the time when we've done these projects, and I'm with Rhino, I'm the one who has to take charge of everything and make everything happen. And Rhino just sits there and is like, "Well, I'm gonna
I'll show up,
and I'll just do it. I'll just be here. I'll show up and I'll contribute."
That's
and then
literally me with Ash.
And you're dedicated, which is great. I appreciate it. But if you want to start up season 3 of Minecraft Lab, why aren't you the one messaging me saying, "Hey, let's do season 3 of Minecraft Lab. I got my body actors ready to go."
Well, yeah, because when it comes to sort of video, sort of ideas, you're more of the person who likes to write, scripts, or sort of write key points, and I like to mainly sort of then take them sort of key points and just completely blow them out of the water and make them as long as possible.
Yeah. I was actually talking with one of the people I work with for Tyser, Froggy. I was talking with them today, and I
Hello,
was saying it's
Froggy.
like, yeah, it's always really funny how like in my role plays with Rhino, I'm always the one who plays the straight man every time, and Rhino's the one who just takes whatever I'm doing and just does whatever he wants. He just shows up and messes everything up on purpose, and I'm like the one who like has to drive the story through, but it works. It's like it's a relationship we've like developed and it's effective. Like I
Mhm.
always laugh because I always feel like in my head I'm like I don't get to do like the fun stuff. Rhino gets to do the fun stuff, but that's also like that's what makes it work though is that I'm the one who gets to be the more dry, like methodical person who brings the story together, and then Rao gets to be the kind of like quirky, unusual, like
Crazy one.
hilarious background. Yeah,
Well, because like robots, they're sort of like so intelligent, and they like to get their points through.
Drive
Dragons
somewhere.
just so unpredictable, they can be chaotic or they can be very nice, you know.
Mhm.
yeah. But you've been more than dragons though. You've also been a certain gator for a Minecraft FNAF channel. You've been
Ooh.
a body actor for Gizzy Gaza for a good number of years. You were even for there before I was. You've done body acting for a number of other YouTubers too, and
Well,
you've
I
also
think
now got
the
like
only crazy role you did was actually being a yandere.
yeah, that's probably the craziest one I've had thus far. But
And Wesley
it's a fair
Chambers.
point. Yes, that's true. But we're not here to talk about me. I've talked about myself a lot. I've got so much time. But we're here to talk about what we'll do before we go into everything else. I didn't tell Ryan about this because I thought it'd be kind of funny. We're
Oh
here to talk
no.
about you. And I'm gonna regale and I want to hear your thoughts on certain things as I regale people about all of your cool accomplishments because like I said, Rhino has been a background character for a number of things. I'm curious, what would you say has been your I know you've answered this a number of times, but of the roles you've had for YouTube content creation, what would you say has been your favorite role to play, and why would that be your favorite?
Ooh. Out of all like sort of like characters that I have voice acted and body acted, I would have to say my yandere self.
Ooh.
Rhino Ryudo. And the reason why I say him is because in season one, he was mainly just a jerk. You know, he was out for himself. He wanted power. He wanted, the love that his brother, well, his, well, not stepbrother, but sort of like adopted brother
Yeah,
wanted. And then after obviously him getting injured, his brother, in season two, he just sort of became more human. He started to actually have feelings that obviously you probably would never have thought that character would have ever have had. And he went through so many different changes that he was a completely different character to the one at the end of the series compared to the one at the beginning of the series.
right.
Hmm.
So I'd
No,
say
you
that
definitely
character.
yeah,
We
no, that
love
makes sense
character
because
development. We stand.
yeah, no, exactly. It's like because no, you're right. Like that character you got to play was you had a lot more nuance in how you kind of had to portray that. And I mean, and something that we've talked about on our own end a lot is like how that whole process of that yandere show, which we did with Lauren and our friend Rachel, our friend Maddie, not this
Mhm.
one, but the other one,
Yeah.
and like our friend Danny, our friend, our well,
Did.
she no longer goes by April, but it was her at the time, um, and so like we had that whole group, and it was really cool to see like the development of the characters as they went from point A to point B of the development that they had, and Rhino got to really showcase a lot because he was the villain in some ways, um, and it was a really fun turn when we got to have my character, who was the nice guy, come out to be the evil bad one, and Rhino ends up being the victim,
Yeah.
and how that
It
works out.
completely just flips it. It's like on its own head. When you look at season one, you straight away think, oh yeah, Rhino's definitely going to be the yandere, and Keno's probably going to be the one who is going to be the victim of all this. Nope. Change the finale of season two.
Nope.
It's the opposite way around.
No,
Just kidding.
exactly. Yeah. No, it's but I do
Ooh.
think I remember still one of the best memories I have from all that whole process. Outside of like because the nice thing is that since Rhino and I were siblings in the show and because we had our own channel, like we shared perspectives on that whole series. And so every
Mm.
episode would be a flip flop between whether it be a Kano centric episode or a Rhino centric episode. which
That's
made it
handy.
really unique. Yeah, no, it was. It was like it's one of those things that like not everyone else did it, but because that's how we had our channel, how our channel is oriented, that's something we prioritized doing, and that continued on with like into Royal Academy or other series we've done together because we thought it was really effective.
Mhm.
But like I still remember when we had like, especially toward the end with some Rhino centric episodes, it was so funny because we gave Rhino the hardest time because of him being British. And we had to do we were doing a performance of some parts from Greece in the show. And there
Mhm.
was this whole improv segment about the fact that Rhino pronounces Sandy differently because of being British.
Really.
Um, and so there's this whole bit that's in one of the episodes, and I'm sure it's in the bloopers too, where it's just Rhino being like, "It's Sandy, Sandy."
So
And
that
Sandy.
was episode 14 of season 2, I remember that
Mhm.
because did the evens, you did the odd episodes,
Yes,
and I remember doing like we completed them scenes, and we did a lot of scenes, and then I think it was the day before we posted sort of like videos. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna just gonna take this improv bit and play with it, and add an extra scene at the beginning.
right.
Mm, like that. That's funny.
I
No,
mean, as well
we
with Yandere, I think one of your greatest characters it came into existence, who has
yes,
popped up time and time again.
yeah, we had we for one of Rhino's episodes, we had a scene where Rhino had to be an angsty boy in the high
Uh-huh.
school, and he's like, "Oh, my life is over. The one I love doesn't love me anymore. My brother doesn't want to hang out with me
Oh
anymore.
my
This is the
god.
worst life I've ever had." And so we had this moment where I just decided I'm gonna like because it was just me and him, and he's like, "I need someone else to be here." And so I
Mhm.
was the janitor who kicked him out of the school when it's late hours, and we have this moment between Rhino and this janitor named Carlos Peabody, um,
Oh
who like gives
god.
Rhino this heart to heart advice. And so it became this running joke throughout the series that like Rhino it's like those like weird guys who have like almost like a guru they go to, and Rhino's guru ends up being this janitor from the high school who gave him this love advice and got his like act together.
Oh my
But it
god.
was more funny though because it was still me. Like you have Kano as the one
Yeah.
character doing his one thing, and then you have Carlos Peabody, who's the janitor I body acted and typed lines for.
Yeah, because literally there
Um
was no voice for Carlos Peabody. It was him typing
Oh
the lines in
no.
chat
yeah.
while
Well,
Oh
and like
Rhino
no.
is like crying.
yeah. Well, and we
That's what
joke
happened
because
with
it's like
Eden.
yes, but, like, I'm notorious like, this is something that I'm personally feel very validated by, but, like, I'm very good at body acting when I'm typing out lines, and I can type lines fast and accurately because I'm a good writer, and so I have,
Mhm.
like, good grammar and good
I'm
diction, and
not.
so it's like so I, like, we'd have, like, these full-on conversations with, like, lines of stuff and Rhino, like, reacting to certain things, and it was just always so funny to see those reactions, but I think, again, that just you and seeing how you grew as an actor from that show too was really cool because you hadn't had the chance to voice act a character like that for much stuff because you had most of your experience being a body actor for other people.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
and so like having an opportunity where you had so many opportunities to like be like, hey, I get to be a character. And it became one of those things where even though we were like the newbies to the space out of the whole entire group, we were probably the most enthusiastic in terms of character presentation and how we would deliver things. Um, because yeah,
That's
and
like
we also
so
were
Yeah,
helpful.
because Yandere was the series that basically helped both of us. Like, in terms of that, it helped me do like character development. But in
Mhm.
season 1, you can like watch a video from season 1 and watch one from season 2. On my episodes, I think I would use like one sort of like background music constantly in every
Mm.
episode in season 1. And then in season 2, I realized that you had to keep changing depending on how the scene changed in that.
Oh, like for the mood and that.
Yeah.
yeah
Yeah.
becoming a better editor.
Honestly, it helps though. With like this whole world of content creation that you got into through body acting and through regular acting with Yandere, is like content creation like what you want to do like long term, or is there something like else that you like went to school for, you have like a different goal in mind and like this is like a stepping stone, or like is this something that you like actively want to do for a long time?
Obviously, content creation. It was something that I decided to do in my spare time, mainly because I wanted to sort of like, because I knew that I'm a more eccentric person
Mhm.
compared to a lot of people, and so I just wanted to bring sort of like that eccentricity. Is it? Is that how you pronounce it?
Eccentricity. Yeah,
That's it.
eccentricity.
Yeah. I wanted to bring that into like videos and, hopefully bring happiness to people that I could. Because obviously, yeah, outside of like content creation, I've done many different things and many different jobs that just have no correlation to one another.
Mhm. So is there something else that you want to do like later, or like you just don't know yet?
I don't really have sort of like a plan. It's like one of them things where
Honestly,
I
move.
just sort of take things as they go along, really.
Mm.
I
Yeah, well,
wish
like,
I
and for
could do
it,
that.
yeah, well, and for a time too. I mean, I know you made a choice about this, but like, I remember you had been in school for game design, for at least a
Or
little bit,
college.
and then yeah, no, well, yes, no, exactly, but like, you still chose that as like a path of like, hey, this is something I potentially like to do, and then I know you chose to kind of back away from that once you realized that it wasn't really something you were as interested in doing. Um, and so like, is that something that you still could still see being useful, or is it still kind of one of those things again where you much rather would just take what you have and run with it as it comes along?
So it's one of them things where I found that obviously I liked some aspects of it, but there was aspects of it that I just found that I couldn't sort of like keep up with. Because obviously once I got to uni, they didn't just do sort of like C sharp, which is like one of the most basic
Right.
of sort of like languages you do for games design. They also do like C++, Java, and there's
Mhm.
just so many that I just couldn't keep up with all these different languages.
Hmm.
Right. No, it's a lot of information, which I think is interesting because as someone who's known you for a number of years now, like you retain information so well. Like people don't always necessarily see it, but I see it a lot. But like you really like history, I know, um, and are super knowledgeable about like politics that aren't even like you're not even just like UK politics. Like you probably know more about US politics than I do at this point because you love knowing about like the world and like everything that's going around it. Um,
Yeah, we won't talk about how I literally spent like a whole week just watching American news
Hey
shows, watching
yo.
your 2020 election.
Yeah, you were more invested in that than I was. You're like, "Oh my goodness, are the Americans so stupid that they would elect this Trump person to the presidency?" And then they did, and then they're like, "This is the most ridiculous
Because
thing in the
your
world." So you
elections,
just
like they
can't.
have your elections, like they happen so sort of like late, and so I think they start at like 10 in my time.
Mhm.
And I remember because it was and I was still at uni. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna watch. I'm just not gonna go to sleep and just watch the US election. Even
Right.
though I'm not from the US.
No,
Oh
but
my
like,
gosh.
but you like being aware, and you really do care a lot about what's going on in the world around you. And I mean, I still know jokingly, it's like, but you care a lot about like world history, especially like history of your own country too, and you retain a lot of that knowledge and use it. Um, and you're someone who like, I mean, you're the one who plays all like the niche. Like, I love strategy games, but you like them even more than I do. Um,
Yeah, I play a lot of like history games or games that involve politics. So like people might know like EU4, which is like when you start from 1940, not 1944, 1444.
mm,
Oh shoot.
Hearts of Iron 4, which is like before World War II happens, 1936.
right.
Uh, you've also got Victoria 2, which is now Victoria 3, which starts in, I think, after the Napoleonic Wars,
Mm.
which I think is 18th. And then there's a game that's called 270, which is a American-based game where you
Yeah, you like that game
put
a lot
money
because it's
into states to try and get them states.
yeah.
Hmm.
I remember for the longest time, be like, yes, I am being this person trying to win this election, and I
I
have
mean,
a
I mean, I won Queen
I need to
strategy.
Elizabeth.
win.
have managed to get Queen Elizabeth to get an outright sort of like majority.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh.
No. But just yeah, I just think it's cool that you've got such an interest in strategy, and I don't think not a lot of people always necessarily know that because they haven't got the chance to like see you do a lot of things in like because even though you have worked in the content creation space a lot, I also feel like for the most part you're also very private. Like you don't go out and brag about yourself to people. Like people might know you as being a bit cocky for your character sometimes, and you obviously with me, and I can say this jokingly, but like you like to rub things in my face kindly, very lovingly. Like you do it, and people don't always like see that because they haven't spent time with you as much. But I know like that's your way of talking in good ways. Because you're very competitive, but you also like have a lot of empathy for people and circumstances, and so like it's cool because not everyone sees that side of you as much because but you have this really big appreciation for a lot of the things that go on in the world, and people in your circles, and just the big funny guy. You have a very deep appreciation of things.
Yeah,
Um,
I always check sort of like world news if anything's happening in the world. So like I always watch a couple of like YouTube channels every day to learn about what's happening in the UK or what's happening in like Europe or the US. To keep up pretty much. Probably knowing me, I will probably then be watching the US 2024 elections.
Oh
yep,
The
no.
same year as probably the UK elections.
of course. I know they know all the things to keep track of, and you'll be like, "What's going on? What's happening?" I know everything. Everything's good to go.
I'm gonna be
I
like, yeah,
know everything.
which side's winning?
Exactly. So it's just you have a lot of cool things at your fingertips and a lot of opportunities, and I can say this because you're the younger one among all of us here because you're like the same age as my sister, but you still have so much time to figure things out. You don't have to be in any rush to sort out your life because it's just yeah, you got time.
I mean, yeah, like I said, well, like I tell many people, you know, you don't really start your life within like say, your teens or your early 20s. I feel like the time where you really pretty much have settled down your life would probably be like somewhere like your early 30s to your mid 30s. That's when
Hmm.
you probably most likely have settled down. You know what you're gonna do for going up to your golden years.
Right.
The
You call
golden
that.
years.
It's the
Well,
golden
yeah,
years.
when you've reached past the age of 50, it's technically classed as the golden years.
Yeah,
Oh
that's at that point
gosh.
you're far gone. You're too old at that point to be worth anything else to society. So you just sit there and vegetate, pretty much.
Oh my
Yeah, because
god.
that pretty much like after you've reached the age of like 45, that's when your body's like, nah, I'm gonna get worse.
Oh no. 20 more
Exactly.
years I've got of
I
my
know.
prime.
Exactly. Y'all thought that body starts declining when you're in 20s. I mean, it technically does, but no, yeah. Wait till you're 40, then it's really gonna hit you,
Yeah,
and
my
you'll be
knee has
crying.
started cracking every time I bend down now. And I like
Oh
this was
no.
like a haha funny, like when we were teenagers, like my ex would be like, "Oh yeah, my knee cracked every time." I'm like so old, haha, blah blah blah. And like they were
Hmm.
mechanics, so they were constantly like needing to like stand or squat or like crawl and like get under a car and stuff like that. And I was just like, "Oh, I don't have any like cracks like that. My body doesn't like creak or crack." And then now like literally I'll like bend down to like like grab like the bowls or like like I don't know, just to go do like the cat litter box or something, and my knee will pop every time, and I'm like, I'm getting old. It's happening. Oh.
My bones won't crack. It's at my because since of my new job, my legs get stiff
Oh,
Oh.
that's the
because
worst.
even though you do move around quite a bit, there are times a day where you're at like one station and you're constantly like doing stuff, but you're not moving your legs much. So
Mhm.
and when you go on like your break and you try and sit down, you just feel that pain right underneath like your knees and that.
Oh no. You just like that
Right.
release of tension. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
honestly felt.
just the experience of life getting older, which is great. Um, Speaking of getting older, I think it's a good segue. Yeah, good segue for us to move on to our tea time for this week, which technically is a bit of some things that happened in the previous week because we didn't get a chance to cover some things, and it's also things that happened this past week, which will be technically last week for those who are listening to podcasts now, and then it's also going to talk about some things that'll happen during our break when that time comes. And specifically with getting old, one of the things that I was disheartened to find out about, and I think you'll both appreciate this, but the voice actor for Professor Oak in Pokemon, who also voices like James, Meowth. I mean, he wasn't the original one for Meowth, but he became the voice actor for Meowth as it kind of, he sort of, oh my goodness, what's the name of the guy who plays Fred in Scooby Doo?
Matthew Lillard?
Frank Welker. Frank
Oh.
Welker.
I was
He
like,
sort
my
of Frank
boy?
Welkered his way. No, he Frank Welkered himself into so many roles because he is a veteran at
Oh.
this point. And so as other voice actors would move on, he started picking up more and more roles and becoming their voices. But unfortunately, he has gotten cancer for his throat. And he's
Which is
getting older now
crazy.
at this point, but like he's dealing with that. So he's effectively retiring from doing voices for animes until he can guarantee that his radiation goes well, and if there's anything that goes wrong, then obviously he'll be done. Um but it's crazy because at least I think about again, like he's been doing Pokemon for the last 25
I
years,
know.
and I'm like, I'm older than that.
Insane.
I grew up with Pokemon having been out already.
And Ash has been 11 for 25 years.
Uh-huh. He has, and it's like
now he can
and so
finally
it's
grow up because didn't it end too? Isn't
Yeah.
like,
yeah,
Pokemon
technically it's
over?
ended in I think it's ended in Japan and they have the episodes going out, but it still hasn't reached all the dub over here yet.
Yeah.
They still have to take care of those final things. But I thought I was like that's really sad because he was he is a fantastic voice actor who's done a lot of
He was
roles
as
that
we
people
died.
recognize. No. But it's just like so it's just yeah, at this point he's kind of taking a rest and it's like, "Oh, okay." So, if you ever are thinking about, people that you care about and think about like don't forget about, James Carter Cathcart because he is a
Don't
fantastic
forget
dude.
about him.
Don't.
But like
You
honestly
know?
though, like that alone is like detrimental to his career. It's like a singer getting throat
Mhm.
cancer. Like it makes you money. It's your career, is your voice, and like it sucks that he has to like give that up to do cancer treatments and stuff. And hopefully, I like all my wishes go to him, and that he beats it, and that he can go back to voice acting and doing what he likes. But I don't know. He might not mind the retirement, but still, I
Right.
I mean,
appreciate
it
him.
because it's always sad when you see like voice actors or sort of like people who are acting, not
Mm-hmm.
just voice acting, but sort of like actual doing the actual actions themselves,
Mm-hmm.
have to sort of like retire due to like like health problems.
Yeah.
Because obviously in the UK we've had actors that have had to retire due to that. Like for example, Doctor Who, which is well known in the UK.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
Originally, Doctor Who was meant to only have just one person be the Doctor for their entire life, which was
Oh.
William Hartnell. But he started like deteriorating in health, and you could see it because he kept fumbling his lines in scenes. And so that's
Oh.
when obviously the writers decided, you know what, let's add this sort of like regeneration thing where this doctor, he dies, but doesn't die. He comes back with a new body. But
Mm.
obviously it was quite sad because, William Hartnell,
Yeah.
he loved the show and he never wanted to quit. But they had to because with his health deteriorating, they didn't want to obviously have a lead actor that would have died during recording or
Right.
during a season.
Yeah. Uh, I hear you. But like, I mean, the Doctor Who's gone for a last season, so clearly that whole change like ended up making it successful. And if the show runs, then he keeps making money for that first season.
Mm.
So, I would say that hopefully has he passed away? Is he still alive?
William Hartnell, he passed away a while ago. Doctor Who was like I think they started in the 1960s.
Oh shoot! I don't watch Doctor Who. I have no idea.
Yeah, Doctor Who had 2 eras. It was classical era and the new era. So the classical era was like in the 1960s to like I think mid 1980s. Then America tried to do a sort of like TV movie and tried to Americanize it, but it failed. And then Britain was like, you know what? Let's give it another go and try a new era in the mid 2000s, and it worked.
Right. So it has coming moment, and it's still obviously they've had this era going, and who knows if they'll ever shift it out of it, but it's been effective.
I mean, they're bringing back a old Doctor too for like a couple of episodes.
Yeah, which I think
be
is
the main Doctor.
Super cool that they're able to do that, and they've got people that can pull for that too, which is really really neat. Yeah, no, that's a. I didn't realize that about Doctor Who, so I appreciate you sharing that because Rhino is also a Doctor Who buff. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
He's a big Doctor Who buff.
Well, with one of our friends said, he was also Doctor Who.
No, yes, that's very very true. I know they'll be on the podcast sometime too. I'm sure when we play their game, we'll be like, haha, yes. But it'll be fun.
Get your butt on here.
Yeah, let's see here. What's the segue I can do? Speaking of sci-fi
related
things. Oh, money also. I guess. Okay, fine. If you want, whatever we want. We could do money. Sure, we'll do money. I'm
Speaking
down for money.
Speaking
of money,
update.
The Mario movie. So I'm not sure if you've had the chance to have you seen it yet, Rhino?
I have not seen it. No.
Okay.
I want to see it, but it's just like one of them things where it's like, all right, I gotta try and think of a date that I'm not working.
Yeah.
And obviously, when other people are not working in the house, and then they can obviously take care of the house.
Yeah. For me, it's like one of those things where it's like, it's not a movie that I so badly want to see that I'm like, maybe I'll go see it in theaters. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe I'll just wait. But if I do go see it in theaters, I hope that I go and see it soon and I can see the D&D movie at the same time.
Yes,
But
no, exactly.
I've heard
but I will say that,
good things.
yeah, even if you haven't seen it, it's already doing quite well. Like as of yesterday, it has breached the $900 million mark of total like money earned in the box office globally.
Is that
so like
is that more than Avatar 1?
I think they were in the billions. Avatar 1.
Yeah, it's still like it's not quite up there, but like the fact that people were not expecting it to make this much money by any means. Like it's one of those things where it like people expected some good things to be good, but like as of right now, it is setting records according to even other things. It's setting records for biggest worldwide opening for animated films in general. And then it's certainly the highest grossing film that's based on a video game that's come out thus far.
Which I hope like prompts them to want to do more things like this. I would love to see more like live action versions of games. Sure, they're nice, but like animation is where it's at, dude. Like,
yeah, no, it's here.
Also,
like I mean,
sorry, I was just gonna say. Also, Avatar 1 made 6. Wait, no. Way of Water has made 2.2 billion,
which I think was less than the first Avatar, because I think they mentioned that.
Yeah, which is still, I mean, it's still pretty impressive for that. Especially when I think about the fact that like I haven't seen the Avatar movies, and like it's like, I mean, it's interesting. I'm sure I'll love it when I go see it, but I haven't seen them. I went to go see the Mario movie first.
No, wait, that's
I mean,
it's number 1. Sorry, I was just reading this. Like, that was at the beginning. Total, like across, like globally, it's grossed almost 7. Sorry, wait, am I reading this wrong? Hold on. Avatar: Way of Water, 2.2 billion global to date, has suppressed Titanic to become the third highest grossing film of all time. Domestically, Way of Water has passed Jurassic World. After its 10th weekend, Avatar has grossed 658.8 million domestic and 1.5 billion international. That was in
domestic would mean
February.
in the US, obviously.
Oh, okay. I was reading that wrong.
So yeah, so it's still pretty impressive all the same.
Yeah, sorry,
But
continue.
yeah, so just puts into context like what that all is. And it is interesting how like it's still like the article I have here still shows that the Mario movie still isn't quite as big as like the Minions movies were. But it's really obvious that you're thinking about like the fact this is animated films in general. Disney produces animated films, and these movies are selling better than Disney films,
which is crazy.
which is like it's crazy to think about. Because we think of Disney as having such an iconic thing, but Disney's real success comes from how they can multi-market so many things. Like Mario is great, but like it's only because Nintendo allowed Illumination to make a movie about it. Like in the movie itself, it's very clear. It's like Nintendo is a separate company that worked to make this movie. Like it reminds me a lot of like the video game production intro sequences where like you have like 5 different developers who all worked on like this one game. Like it felt very much like that where it's like Illumination and Nintendo present because it had 2 different people working on it. And so it's just I think it's just cool that
I
the
mean,
Mario movie is doing so well and it continues to do well.
obviously, sort of like with the Mario movie, what I really wanted from the Mario movie, which I know that apparently he has like certain bits in it. I wanted the Mario character to be voiced by Charles Martinet,
Oh,
who
I think that
is
was a lot
the
of
Mario voice actor who has been voicing Mario since 1991.
yeah.
I think a lot of
So
people wanted that, but they wanted a lot of big names on this
32
movie.
years he's been voicing that single character. But it wasn't only that. He's also been voicing like Luigi, I think Wario and Waluigi as well. Which is crazy to think because I remember watching an interview that he did, Charles Martinet, where I think what he said was he went for sort of like an audition for the Mario character, and Nintendo specified it to be like a Italian plumber, and he started doing sort of like this Italian voice for Mario, and started doing like wacky sounds as well. And if I remember correctly, they said that they weren't fully into it, but then I think he got a phone call from them saying that they would test his voice in obviously the video games, the Super Mario Brothers video games, and it's pretty much stuck. And obviously, then they add the brother Luigi, and he voices him as well. It's crazy that like this guy, who is I think he's been alive since 1955, so he's in his or about to turn 70. He's voiced like the main character for Nintendo for 32 years.
And they didn't fucking cast him.
And
so
he's
stupid.
He is in the movie.
Because he's American as well, and Nintendo's Japanese, so it's like, how did this American voice act a big character for a Japanese video game country?
How did you land this? I would like to know.
Right. But it's interesting, like I will say in the movie, and you'll see it when you go to see it, but like they do like it's very obvious that they recognize that and they gave him like when I say sizable cameo, it's one of those things where like it's very special when they have him talking. Like it seems like they've definitely got him like a revered position, which I think is nice. Like they didn't just kind of like toss him in. Like there's some actors who I know kind of like get cameo roles. Like I recognize someone's right. Like I heard like a random voice line. It's like, oh, I know that voice actor. But like this guy, they made sure to at least put him like front and center into the camera. He has an opportunity to show the lines and bring the iconic voice to the movie. I think they just were probably dead set on having a younger celebrity voice Mario, which is what it is. But either way. Like they do have that opportunity present in the movie, which is just which again, it goes back to voice actors like we were just talking about before.
Yeah.
And speaking of video games, segue. So Rhino probably cares nothing about this, and I'm really enjoying the fact that I can talk about this right now while he's in this call because he notoriously despises one of the games that this company makes, Hoyoverse. But this past week, which was last week for those who are listening, a new game from Hoyoverse, Honkai Star Rail, came out. Which honestly, I feel like despite the fact that you have determined yourself to not play any anime games, this one is much more strategy based. I got the chance to play it. It released on the 26th of April. And it's really cool. Honkai Star Rail is basically taking place in the same universe as one of Hoyoverse's previous titles. The Honkai sort of Impact area, I believe is technically what it's from, the Honkai series. And so it follows that same lore overall. But it's sci-fi. It's like a sci-fi world where you've got these people who are traveling on this star rail to go to other worlds and learn about them. And you get to play this character who gets tossed in.
So much like Genshin.
Yes, it's very similar, but it plays much more like, for me, when I played through it, it feels a lot more like Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic and other like more classic RPGs and turn-based stuff. So it comes across that way. It visually looks like Genshin, but I think that's because they understand Genshin's popularity and they said, "Here, let's try and translate all of you people
Genshin popular
to a game." I mean, you despise it, but I think it's just because you despise. Actually, you know what? We're here at the podcast. I want to hear your articulated opinion.
Why do you
as
hate
to
Genshin?
why do you dislike Genshin? And overall, why has it come to like that category of like anime games? What is it about it that you don't generally like? Because I'm curious, what would be your founded evidenced opinion about this?
Obviously, anime. I hate anime for the reason it can get very weird. Like, because when it like compared to like a lot of different TV shows, I don't know why it's just sort of like anime is just so random. Like they'll make food look very sort of like appealing, and it's like people are just having. I want like obviously words that I'm not gonna say, but yeah, like people just like look at that and I'm just like, why? what makes this sort of like stuff make
you don't
people
like the over
break down?
exaggerated like fantasy kind of thing about it.
And so obviously with Genshin, it has that anime link, and you can tell it has anime link because you just look at its sort of like art style, and it has that anime-ness to it, and it's also the type of game where I'm just not sort of like a fan of sort of like where it's I'm a fan of open worlds. I do like open worlds. It's just Genshin is just one of them games where it follows sort of like a path where you have to go to different areas and you know, obviously you have to like fight bosses and that. It's just one of them games that it just has so many different mixtures to it that I just dislike it so much that no matter what anyone will do, I will not play it. And
like
no matter how many
world,
times
like
Kano no matter how many times Kano says, "Oh yeah, don't worry, I'll make sure to get Rhino to play it." No. No.
You're gonna do a Twitter bet someday, and you're gonna have to play it. That's all I'm gonna say. Because you're a gambling man sometimes.
I was so close to getting my other friend to play it. I was so close. I was like, yeah, it's kind of like WoW, but it's like waifu anime girls, and like you can play free to play, but like it's got a story and there's a bunch of stuff that's very grindy. And they were like, oh, okay, like maybe I'll check it out. Like, why not? Just like fuck it, like I'll give it a chance. And I was so close to getting them to start. I don't think they ever did, and I'm so sad about it. I was like, I could have converted you to the dark side.
But I will say, and the thing that I laugh is that, like, honestly, like Mousie and I love Genshin, and we've got a lot of friends who enjoy it. But there are so many other games out there that you can enjoy. So honestly, never feel pressure to play a game you don't want to play. Find one that you like. because it's more
Yeah.
fun. And I do think
We're
it's interesting
just
because like sometimes there will be games like
nerds.
for example, I would put out there like I'm sure Genshin plays a lot like Breath of the Wild in terms of the open world exploration,
Oh,
and how it
probably.
falls. And there are a lot of people who say, "Oh yeah, I love Breath of the Wild, but I don't like Genshin," and
I've
that's
never
okay.
played Breath of the Wild. I think the only Link game that I actually have played was Link's Awakening.
Okay, well, this is the like original one, and see, I would wonder if you would dislike some of the more modern Legend of Zelda titles because they follow that same anime concept. Um, like even like the fairies, the fairies in Legend of Zelda, they sometimes they just be scantily clad, and you're like, oh,
They're wearing
this is a
leopard print bathing suits, and
See,
they're like, "Oh my god, when you have some downtime, come and visit me." It's like,
yeah, and they always sound like they're like, and you're like, why do you sound like
man.
this in the
yeah,
Legend of
it's
Zelda game?
because it's not only that. It's like there are other games that are sort of like following that path of sort of like Genshin style, which is like Pokemon.
Mhm.
I loved like
Gotta
the
catch 'em
classic
all.
Pokemon games. Like 2D sprite, or when it was sort of 3D, it was like top down 3D. But now
Right.
it's more of the 3D where it's third person, and it's got that sort of like starting to become that more vibe of Genshin
Yeah.
with its art styles, and it's starting to become so unappealing.
Yeah. Rhino was the one over there
Mm.
when everyone's simping over the Pokemon professors in the newest region, and Scarlet and Violet, and Rhino's just like, no, no, I don't,
No,
Oh
I
I'll
don't
just
need
I'll,
gosh.
this.
st- I'll stick to my history based game.
Thanks. My
Exactly. Where all of them are very not anime. We're all very, yes.
I will stay to my strategy game over here. Y'all go do whatever you want with your waifus. I don't care. Oh gosh.
Which is fine. But I will say that like Honkai Star Rail definitely feels like it takes the good pieces of Genshin and applies them in a different
What's
setting.
good
And
about
so
Genshin? There are no good pieces.
okay. You know what? You're
Uh-oh.
welcome to your opinion. That's all. That's all
Oh.
I'm gonna
I
say.
was like, are we
We aren't
going
here.
into a rant here? Is this what
No,
happening?
we ain't here to rant about this. Ryan and we've already talked about it so many times. That's why I think it's funny. Like,
I always just appear in his streams and like whenever he's playing Genshin, I go, Genshin.
yeah, I just find it funny
Ooh.
because you're almost dedicated to showing up whenever I play Genshin at those times, just to comment that I'm playing Genshin, and then you know enough about it that I'm sure you probably have watched me play it a bit. Um, but again, it's like you can watch people play games and not actually enjoy the games themselves. You just hang
It's
out.
true. I like watching
But
Valorant, but I don't like playing it because I get mad.
no, and that's completely fair. And so yeah, but it's exciting when new games come out, and I think it's obviously Hoyoverse now has become a lot more of a scene. I was laughing watching their premiere event for Honkai Star Rail because in the event they're like, yeah, Hoyoverse is starting to become one of the like strongest gaming like companies in the industry, like becoming much more known. It's like they're having their own people say
Mhm.
this during the like
Um,
promotion, and I thought it was so funny. I'm like, yeah, you guys really think
you
that?
have
You're
no
so slow.
idea what a gaming company is.
But it's just so hilarious.
Jeez
They're like, yeah,
Louise.
we're tooting our own horn a little bit. I'm like, I mean, you have I guess some right, but it's just really funny having
Yeah.
them say that. Um,
Like,
speaking
okay.
of tooting your own horn,
Uh-oh.
um, so I brought this up because it's going to be gone while we're during our break, but
Mm.
you have to be living under a rock if you hadn't realized that there's a coronation happening in England.
Me.
And I'm not even going to provide so
I'm
much
under a
details,
rock.
but the coronation for King Charles III is happening on May 6th. And since we have our resident British person here, I I want to know your thoughts about the coronation.
What is a
So
coronation for those who don't know? Totally not me or
okay,
anything.
so a coronation, because obviously in America you never had a coronation
No.
because you've been a presidential republic.
Well,
Um,
I'm in Canada and we don't even have coronations either.
well, our coronation then becomes your head of state
Yeah.
because there are countries that are still part of the Commonwealth, which are
Yeah.
called the Commonwealth of Nations, and they have
Partner.
Britain's monarch as their head of state.
Yes.
Yeah.
So coronations, if you didn't know, because there's very few countries that still have monarchies, even though ours is more of a figurehead monarchy. They have no power. They have some power, but they just don't use it because then they'll become very unpopular to the public.
Right.
It's where sort of like, so the previous monarch has died or they've abdicated. And what happens is there's sort of like a long process for like a year where the next in line, they have to sort of like go through this process where there's sort of like a king in waiting. And they don't officially become like king or queen until they're coronated from, I think it is, where is it exactly? It's Westminster Abbey. And it used to be you used to have like Pope. So the Pope, they used to sort of like coronate kings or emperors. But then obviously Britain decided to break away from the Catholic Church and it made its own English church. So we now have our own people where they will coronate the next in line. So it'll be King Charles, who will be the third, which will make then Camilla, Queen Camilla. But she's not the queen. She's only sort of like, she's only a queen so long as Charles is alive. Because she's only half of the genes needed for the actual next in line to the throne, which is William. And Charles, when you look at like sort of like popularity for the British royal family in the UK, Charles is one of the least favourite.
Only that much.
I mean, he's not the least favourite. That would be Prince Andrew, which is one of Charles's kids. But there was many people in Britain who like wanted, when the Queen died, they wanted Charles to abdicate to go to the most popular royal member, which is William. Yeah, there's few countries. I think there's only like 5 in Europe that still have monarchs. I think it's UK, Spain, Luxembourg, Sweden, and it's either Denmark or Finland. Now, I think it's Luxembourg, because Luxembourg is a very small country. I know Sweden has a monarch, and Spain's is also a bit like Britain's, where they're a constitutional monarchy. So most of the power is Parliament.
Okay. So that's happening on Saturday. So that means he will officially become king on Saturday?
Yeah, he will officially become the British monarch and the head of state for the Commonwealth of Nations, which means that your like sort of like notes, your banknotes, they will stop having Elizabeth on them and start having Charles on them.
No,
right. because
my girl.
if people didn't know, it's not only Britain that has the monarch's face on their notes. It's also the Commonwealth of Nations, which includes the likes of New Zealand, Australia, Canada. It's basically the countries that allowed Britain allowed independence without like any violence happening. So yeah, Ireland definitely does not have the British monarch.
But yeah, but it's gonna be. I think it'll be really interesting as that kind of as we
make
see
sure that I
shift.
take you to see Westminster when you
yeah, I know we're gonna be seeing some things. No, it'll be really cool because literally in a little more than a month at this point, my passport actually came in yesterday, which would have been last week as the time of this recording. But it's like, yeah, it's cool that I have my passport and it's gonna be so close, and I'll be seeing.
You get the 10-year one or the 5-year one?
I think just the 5-year, because I don't know if there's a 10-year option.
You have 5 or 10-year options?
Yeah.
I think it was just
in the UK
option was there.
In the UK, if you're under the age of 16, you have one every 5 years. But once you've gone over the age of 16, it's 10 years every single time. There is
Okay,
no
nope.
option.
So mine's 10 years. Yeah, because it expires in April of 2033. So I still have plenty of time.
Mine expires in 2028.
But mine expires 2026.
So our fun thing is, I'm pretty sure it's a money grab because you can get the 5-year one, and it's cheaper than the 10-year one. You have to pay more to get the 10-year one, but like obviously if you get the 10-year one, it lasts for longer and you don't have to worry about it. So
right.
But yeah, that's just something here. I don't know if they got rid of it. I've always, the last time I got my passport renewed was 2018, so I don't really remember fully the process.
Right.
Last time I got mine was
5 years ago.
2016.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think but I'm excited. I'm pumped. It'll be really interesting. I'll be in an England that has a king as compared to a queen.
Oh gosh, what a change.
Yeah, it is a change. It's a big change for everybody. And it's like, and then you've got the people in Great Britain, especially Rhino, who are like, yes, this matters, and then ultimately realize it doesn't really matter. And then it's like, what is this existential crisis we're living right now, where we care about the royalty, but we
technically
also
does matter because the British, part of their tax actually goes to the royal family.
Right. That's very, very true. But I think it's just funny to think about. But yeah, that's the news for the next week and the past week and all that together. So definitely there'll be more stuff happening, and we'll have a lot to talk about in a few weeks when we come back for season 2. But that's our news for now. So with that, I think it's time to move into the Should I Be Scolded segment. Ooh. And since I'm the one reading it, that's all you're gonna hear. It's just Should I Be Scolded. So congratulations. It is from
yes, you should, Kano.
It's from a Reddit that's not called Should I Be Scolded. It's the much more inappropriate version of it, in my opinion. But we got 3 possible articles. I think I will for sure read 2 of them. Not necessarily all 3, but I'll definitely read 2. So you guys are welcome to choose which one you'd like to hear more. So we have, should I be scolded for planning a wedding 2 weeks after my cousin's? Should I be scolded for not wanting my fiance to make a birthday cake for his sister when it's my birthday too? Or should I be scolded for buying all the red Gatorade at the store?
I personally want to hear the second one.
Okay. You have a preference on which ones you want to listen to right now?
I feel like the second and first one, because the third one, that's basically just another thing in the UK.
I've done that.
Prime. This is saying Prime.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, cool. Then we'll for sure do the second one, and then if we got time, we'll listen to the first one. All right. Okay. So this one does have an answer. Oh no! How rude!
Did it get deleted?
It just got removed by Reddit spam filters. It was already there before, and now it's gone.
What was the verdict?
The verdict was that they should have been scolded because it was selfish that they wanted to have their birthday cake. When like the guy was like, I don't want you to make a birthday cake for your sister. The girl was like, you should make a birthday cake for your sister because it's also my birthday. That was the result. That was what the body said.
People were saying they should have been scolded for wanting that?
Because of the fact that they didn't like the fact that they were making a birthday cake for his sister because they wanted the birthday cake and they want to be the priority in the relationship was the idea.
Well, I mean, yeah, but
why
if it's also his birthday,
why both?
Yeah, if it's his birthday as well, why is he having to make the birthday cake for his sister?
No, it's like the spouse and the sister.
The spouse's sister. Like, why is he making a cake for them? Like, surely shouldn't it be to the people who it isn't their birthday?
Well, even if you were tasked with making the cake hypothetically for whatever reason, or you were the one like in charge of getting the cake for like their birthday party or something. If like my birthdays are on around the same day, like I would want something too. Like I wouldn't be like, don't do it for me over them. I would be like, okay, well, am I also gonna get treated? Because like I had this problem with my ex. I shared a birthday with his sister, and I don't care much for my birthday, but like I still like to do stuff on it. But like my birthday was always overshadowed because she'd start planning her birthday in like January. And our birthday's in July, and she'd be like, I'm gonna do this theme of a party, and we're gonna have like this, and I'm gonna do that, and blah blah blah. And she'd like sometimes she'd come to me or like the family and be like, this is what I'm gonna wear. Look at my cake. I want this from I want this. And I was just like, I'm gonna go nuts. But at the same time, a part of me was just like, okay, well, like you're doing all this stuff and people are doing things for you for your birthday. I hope that I get something for my birthday because that'd be pretty cool. And it sucked because every time I wouldn't. I'd get like there was like a couple years where like I wouldn't even get a happy birthday from my ex's family, and I lived with them, and I shared a birthday with their daughter. So it was so easy to remember my birthday, and I wouldn't even get a happy birthday. Meanwhile, like his sister's planning this huge party, and they'd be like, oh yeah, hi Maddie, like how are you doing? And I'm like, I'm good. Waiting.
Yeah.
Didn't get a happy birthday. I'm like, wow, okay, fuck you guys.
It's one of them things, obviously when it comes to birthdays, you always have like conversations like, oh, what do you have plans for your birthday? And imagine the guy going, oh, my plans, oh, I was just baking a cake for my fiance's sister.
Oh no,
Yeah.
so the I'm gonna just see, I don't know what the genders were, but like the husband's sister's birthday and then the girlfriend's birthday. So like the husband is making a birthday cake for their sister, but not for them. Like for like the person writing it is what I think it was. Like if they were like twin situation, they're making a birthday cake for both. I don't know. Regardless,
I mean,
I don't know if they should have been scolded.
I'm looking more context here, and it sounds like this is one of those things where the sister is actually someone who passed away recently.
What?
And so the fiance wanted to make a birthday cake to commemorate his dead sister, but the OP, the original poster, was upset with them because they're like, she's dead. Why are you trying to do this for her? You should be celebrating my birthday
Yeah, that makes
instead.
it different. Oh my god. Whoa. Okay.
Well,
that
hey, it's okay. You get the assessment of
everything.
both opinions, though. See, now you understand
When it
the full
comes to that,
thing.
I don't think sort of like, I feel like what would have been more sort of like essential for the moment is basically like what we do for like our relatives who pass away. Like on their birthdays, what we would do is we get a photo of the relative, and I think at night we'd put their like photo onto the mantelpiece with like 2 candles right next to each other and light the candles
Oh, that's really sweet.
as a way to sort of like remember them, and obviously for like celebrating, their birthday. I feel like making a cake, it's just one of them things where it's not needed.
I don't even do that much when like when my dad's birthday rolls around. I just like say happy birthday out loud. I'll just be like, happy birthday, dad. Like I don't do anything.
Right.
Like I don't like go out of my way to like
Because
make
we
a
did the
cake.
candle thing like for the first birthday that they've passed away.
But that's still so cute. I didn't even think about doing something like that. Interesting. Well, anyway.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's right. See, now we've got 2 assessments there. You got one general opinion about like, it's okay to like, it's okay to advocate for yourself. But you know what?
Yeah, in your own
When you
birthdays.
are upset with your fiance for wanting to celebrate their dead sister and making
That's a
them a
little cringe.
birthday cake, it's a little cringe and saying, no, you can't do that. Be all about me. Very different perspective.
Yeah. It's a hard
Hey,
line
that's right.
to draw being
Yeah.
like, well, they're dead and I'm alive. It's like, okay, but like, yeah, they're dead, but like, let me remember them. They're my family member.
Right.
It's like, anyway.
Exactly. That's okay. But anyways, now we can move on to the one that does have one for sure.
Cool.
Which is, should I be scolded for planning my wedding 2 weeks after my cousin's? It's nice because I've listened to Mousie say these. I know how to read them now. I'm very good at this now. Nice. Let's get ready. All right. Okay, so this is the OP. I, 22 female, have been dating someone for 2 years, while my cousin, 21 female, who I'm very close with, has been dating a guy for about a year. Last July, she got engaged and had a date set for July 2023. I was asked to be in her bridal party, to which I agreed. I then got engaged this past December and later set my date for mid July. When I set my date, I was aware that her wedding was July 1st. I'm starting nursing school in August and wanted to make sure I was able to get married before then. I called my cousin to let her know my wedding would be a couple of weeks after hers this coming July. She then became frustrated with me that I set my wedding so close to hers when she was engaged first. I explained that she would be back from her honeymoon before my wedding weekend, and I would make sure my bachelorette party and bridal shower would not get in the way of hers. She then said we had nothing to talk about and hung up. My cousin then tells our whole family about the issue at hand. Everyone takes sides, and our family is now split on who is right. She then calls me a couple of days later to tell me it was best that I am not part of her bridal party. I was not invited to her bridal shower, along with being uninvited from her bachelorette party, which I was helping plan. My sisters and mom were also not invited to the bridal shower for her. We did get a wedding invite, but have not RSVP'd yet. Should I be scolded?
Oh
And there
my
are
So
two
god.
edits, but I think
Yeah,
they aren't necessarily important to like note for the main details. So I'm curious what your thoughts are here at this
so
point.
in my thoughts, I'm gonna say yes, and there's a reason why I'm saying yes, and the reason why I'm saying it is because, in my opinion, and I think in a lot of like family traditions that probably people do, I would say when it comes to sort of like family weddings, make sure to at least have sort of like a year in between family weddings. You don't want them too close because obviously there can be conflicts that like with certain things that happen because obviously like with a cousin they're getting their like dresses like ready and that, but then obviously you got like then they're gonna get their like bridal dresses and they're gonna try and get like bridesmaid, and if like the cousin's one of the bridesmaids, then they're gonna have to get a bridesmaid dress
Mm.
fitted along with the wedding dress that they already got. So I would say in family like weddings, leave it for like a year. Like make sure there's like a year gap.
Hmm. I
Yeah.
have not looked into like wedding etiquette in that regard. I didn't know about this like 1 year rule, but it makes sense. It does make sense. I understand where like they're coming from because like they wanted to get married before school. They've also been dating their significant other for longer. I don't know if
Mhm.
that really constitutes for anything, but like I don't know. I feel like it's a fact that needs to be brought up. But like 2 weeks is a little close.
Mhm.
Um, and I agree with Rhino's point because, like, yeah, like everyone is at the same time trying to juggle two different things. Because while one bride is trying to set up their wedding, they're also having to get bridesmaids' outfits for other people within the party and sending out invites. And, like, just the whole setup involved is just like crazy. And you're trying to plan it with
Mhm.
like a 2 week break in between. Like, I think that's a little
Yeah,
weird.
and also the reason why I say like there's obviously like usually marriages are like probably like a year is because it becomes like, say for example, families who live in sort of like well far away, they have to like get places booked, or if they live in a different country, they have to like fly over, and you don't want that family to sort of like do that, then fly back, and then 2 weeks later have to fly back again, because
Yeah.
that's just so much cost in so little
Or
time.
make them stay for like the month.
Yeah, because then that's just like so much work and so much like time they have to like book off.
Yeah.
But
I think everyone in this situation is the a-hole and should be scolded because I don't know. I don't think that they should have planned their wedding so close. I understand their thought process behind it, but I don't think that they're right. But I also don't think that the like first bride should have been so like petty about it. Like I feel like a more mature conversation should have happened, been like, hey, this like
Mhm.
I don't like this. This doesn't like this is going to be hard. Instead of being like, um, we have nothing to talk about. Hangs up the phone, kicks them
Right.
out of the bridal party, but still invites them to the wedding. Like, Bro, like, I'm not gonna go at that point. Like, you can't, like, demote me and expect me to still show up. Especially because, like, if this does bother you, you can't even sit down and have a conversation with me on why it bothers you and explain it to me. Because, like, in obviously this person's eyes, they don't think that they're in the wrong. So, but I feel like if you were to sit them down and have a conversation with them, like, instead of them having to go to a damn Reddit page and find out if they are in the wrong, like, you should be the one to talk to them about it. Like, I don't know. Also, just like I said, the whole, like, wedding etiquette, like, there's so much, like, that would bother someone and wouldn't bother someone. There's, like, bridezillas and stuff that just, like, are so anal about their weddings, and it's like, dude, you're literally just, like, throwing a party to sign a piece of paper. Like, that's genuinely what a marriage is like, you're getting up in front of your family and friends, saying a few words, signing a piece of paper, and then going and partying afterwards. Like, do you really need to be like this? Like, oh my god, the flowers are not the right shade of fuchsia. Like, calm the fuck down. Like, jeez.
So much fuchsia. All the fuchsia.
All the fuchsia. I don't know. I just pulled a color.
It's understandable. I guess so. And I'll say a piece too, because I definitely agree that, like, I can understand the level of, like, there is sort of a wedding etiquette that comes in the place of, like, you don't want to, like, have a wedding be too close because you don't want to be taking away attention. I do understand the idea of, like, wanting to get married before school if that's a priority of, like, you're going to be involved in nursing school, which is super dedicated. You're not going to have any time for anything. So I understand, like, I want to get married, and that'd be where I'm thinking, like, it'd be like, okay, then maybe don't get a wedding done traditionally until later. Like, maybe you do, like, sort of like, get the paper signed, you can be legally married, and then have the actual wedding ceremony like the year after, or at a time when you can have a ceremony, as compared to doing it earlier if it's going to be that big of a conflict for your family. Um, so that's kind of where I'm thinking. The edits that were provided, specifically, there were two, which actually addressed some of the things we talked about. But the first one was saying that we and our families all live in the same area, and our weddings are they're close in location, so there's no travel expenses for the family that would have to be shared in any way. And the OP also wanted to make sure that they didn't plan their wedding before hers, because they wanted to make sure they weren't taking away from her big day. They just wanted to make sure they got it done before they started school. And the second edit was just a personal preference, saying that since they're Catholic, they don't want to get married at the courthouse. They would really want to get married in a church, because of their own faith and beliefs and what that would constitute, and the kind of procedure that goes with that. So those are the two kind of pieces there. I know what there is a result for this, Rhino. So I believe you said that what's your stance? There's a few different rankings. You can either say one person is the one who should be scolded, or you can say that all of them should be scolded, or that none of them should be scolded.
I'm gonna say the person OP should be scolded, primarily because they could have like chosen such a later date.
Like, choose next summer, like, when you're off of school. I don't know. I think everyone is. I don't think any. And I hate when families choose sides and stuff like that, and, like, just, like, telling everybody, like, oh my god, like, shut up, like, you're in high school, like, you didn't need to rope the entire family into
right. And especially because they're both so young too, 22 and 21. I look at that, like, I mean, that's like, Rhino, that's younger than you now. Like, I remember back when that was like you were that age. Now you're older than that age now. That's like, that's younger than you.
Just reminding you, by the way, Rhino.
Sorry. Well, because I'm like, because again, it's like, I think it's like I'm gonna turn 27 in September. Like, I'm that age now, so it's like, okay, but
I don't want to talk about ages.
I'm sorry, but so there's a lot of different opinions. I mean, looking at people, like, there are people who said, like, you can have your wedding when you want to. It doesn't matter. It's usually a bit iffy if you plan two weddings, but you're welcome to make whatever choice you want. And then a lot of people also said, like, it really depends on if, like, you're doing the same family, having the same sort of wedding. But the consensus of the Reddit was that no one should be scolded for this. That while they all were at fault, the general consensus is that, well, you all have the right to do what you want to do, and you're not being entirely mean about it, but there's some misunderstandings. So it's like, there's not anyone who's being, like, particularly mean. but it's just a status of things. So it's not like it's not worth warranting saying that you are like people are wrong because everyone was okay to make the decisions that they chose to make. So that's what they came to a consensus with on the Reddit.
That
Yeah, that's understandable.
that's a new one.
Yeah, I've not seen any. No, like no one's the person to be scolded. So I thought that
Oh.
was kind of cool. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah. Um, I think yeah. The other one, the last one, is a bit of a longer one, of course, which is funny. It's like this one about the Gatorade, and it ends up being a really long message. So
Oh
I won't worry about
gosh.
doing that one.
I was gonna say, I think for time we might skip that one.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so those are just some fun things to think about. As we think about our next episode, two
Yeah.
intense. One that didn't exist. The other one was pretty interesting with a result we haven't had so far. But okay, so
Crazy.
our next segment is the Q&A. All these
Woo!
questions are questions that have been asked by you all, whether it be through our anonymous. What's the website again? Link. It's the
Live ask.
Live Ask, yes. Which is right there, of course. I just kind of forgot, but it's the Live Ask website. If you ever want to submit questions anonymously, you can do so through that, or you can join Mousie or mine and Rhino. Haha, he's here. I can actually say why it makes sense. But mine and Rhino's Discord.
Yeah.
You can ask questions there. But yeah, all these questions are here for that. So yeah, we've got a number here we can choose from. We'll probably do maybe like 3, 4, or 5, depending on how long it takes. At least one each. So Rhino, since you're the guest, is there a question? Actually, I know you don't have the document up, so I could toss this your way. So actually, I'll have Mousie start.
Mm.
Do you have a question you'd like to ask the collective?
Ooh. I have one, but I have more of like short answers for it, even though it could be a more in-depth conversation. But
Okay.
it's what are some of your beliefs in life? And I can
Ooh.
start because I'm not a very like faithful person, you could say. But like I guess for example, like if I were to believe in any like or believe or follow in any type of religion or religious beliefs, it would probably be more closer to like Buddhism of like karma and like reincarnation. Like we have no idea. Like I don't have any idea of what comes after. There's like scientists are studying of like what potentially could come in the afterlife if there is one, that kind of thing. Um so like I don't know, reincarnation feels like the most logical, I guess, because a lot of faith, I'm gonna hot take, a lot of faith isn't based on logic. So, but like, you know what? Anyway, that's gonna get off the hot seat for that one. But like, other beliefs in life are like, I guess it's still karma, but like, you're a good person, like you receive goodness in return, and like, I've been trying to like get more into like the belief of manifesting, like when you like manifest something and you're like, I will get this will happen to me, it usually happens to you in some shape or form.
Like you're not saying, oh yeah, if I just say this is gonna happen, like
I'll
it's
get $1
much more
million.
like yeah, but like you're making active effort and you're like, I'm gonna try and make this happen. I'm gonna make this my reality, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like
is the approach.
Well, like one of the things I guess is like a little example, and I talked about it last week of like yelling at the universe to like give me stuff. But like I'll have like a lottery ticket and I'll be like, this will win. Even if it's $5, even if it's a free ticket, this ticket will win. And like a few times now, when I've done that, I have won like a free ticket, which is crazy. So like it's stuff like that, like willing things into the universe of like I don't know. Another example could be like, instead of being like, oh, I want $1 million or I will make $1 million, you'll be like you'll try and manifest like a source of income that like is financially stable or something. Like I will find an opportunity that will financially support me, like that kind of thing.
Right.
And then I don't know, sometimes life just like gives you opportunities. They're not always ones that are going to work, but I've noticed that I'm like, when I say out loud, I'm like, I need like something. I need like another job, or I need another opportunity. Like I got to be working more. And then I'll get like a couple days later, I'll get like offered a new opportunity. But you kind of have to weed it out, because yeah, you might get an offer for an opportunity, but it might not be what you're looking for. Like if you're looking for the financial stability, like this offer came your way, but it might not be what you're looking for fully. So
Right.
those kind of beliefs, I guess, would be
Yeah.
mine.
I gotcha. What about you, Rhino? What are some of the beliefs that you hold? And they don't have to be faith based. They can just be just general
So,
beliefs that you hold.
I believe in
sort of like
myself.
belief. So, the only belief that I really hold is that if you like sort of like do good deeds within your life,
Mhm.
then goodness, it won't happen, straight away, but it'll happen over the course of your life,
Mhm.
because obviously you don't want to be like a, a bad person because yeah, you might get good stuff happen to you being a bad person, but that good stuff will turn sour very, very quickly.
What
And
goes
so,
around comes around.
exactly. So, my belief is obviously that if you do good deeds throughout your life, then eventually them good deeds will start being rewarded to you.
I gotcha. That's very, very fair.
Kano.
Um, yeah, I guess on my end, I mean, I'm very transparent about it, so it's not like I
Mhm.
had anything. I do have some faith-based beliefs. Like
Mhm.
I'm a Christian, so I believe that there is a God. I believe that there is a Jesus who is also God, and a Holy Spirit who's also God, and that Jesus died on the cross and came back to life, and that humanity is saved from their sins if they choose to believe in that truth. Um, but outside of that, which I think kind of stems from my Christian faith, but also just generally speaking, it's like I do have like a belief that like no one is inherently good. I think that everyone is capable of being horrible and nasty and diabolical.
Mhm.
Um, but I also do believe that, you know, we are made so that we have potential for good, that no one can ever be completely and utterly evil. That there is going to be some, there's a potential for goodness in every person. I also believe that if you work hard for something, you're going to get something out of it. Even if it's not exactly what you're looking to achieve, the work you put toward something will ultimately provide you with a result that will be better than if you had just let something sit by and not
Yeah.
worked toward it. Um, like I do firmly believe that you have to work hard to get places, or at least take chances. You can't just expect everything to come your way and get away with it. Um, and then I guess like simple things for me is like I think that like something that's really important, which I guess is technically kind of like a belief, is that like you know that being educated is important. That it's important to know a lot about the world, and obviously I think that knowledge can go too far. Um, but it's a I guess more of a principle than a belief that like that being educated and learning is are important things in life, and by having those as part of who you are, you're going to be a better person than had you not been.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I think those are honestly, and I guess with regards to like yeah, the good people kind of concept, I think it's definitely better to be a good person than a bad person, certainly. Um, I also don't think like anyone's perfect. So it's sort of like, again, assumed that even if you are quote unquote a good person, there's probably still been some bad things that you've done. Um, and
Yeah.
that's ultimately, I would say that's okay, but like it's everyone's on the same playing field. There's not one person who's going to be better than
Yeah.
anybody else for any reason because we're all equally capable of being bad or capable of being good. So
Yeah.
So yeah, those are my beliefs.
All right. Next question.
Yes.
Um, would you like to pick it, or would Rhino like to pick it? I don't know if Rhino has the
I can pick
questions.
it. If you want to open up the document, Rhino, it is on the thread, so you can take a look at this and you can look at the questions yourself if you'd like. Um,
On the thread?
and it is. It's in the thread.
Right
You have access to it.
here. We'll reply to it.
Yeah, do that. But I can ask the question right now at least, and that'll give Rhino a chance to assess. I would say, ooh, this might be a fun one actually because Rhino's here. It's something that I think is fun. No, it's not a conscient not a
No, I think I know
contentious one.
which one you're gonna pick.
Do you?
Maybe.
Okay, I guess we'll find out. I'll start with Rhino. It's the question. So, Rhino, you and I both love Star Wars.
Okay.
A
Yeah,
lot.
I just looked at the
Yeah,
question.
I was gonna say we both love Star Wars a lot. Who would you say are your top 3 Star Wars characters, and why are they your favorite?
Oh, that's there's so many different characters. Oof. Okay, so for my first one, I'm going to say Hunter. Hunter,
Oh.
because
respect that.
he's sort of like, obviously he's like a leader to the Bad Batch, or Clone Force 99 as they're also known as, but he has so many different aspects to him. He's sympathetic, he's starting to understand that maybe being in like war or fights isn't something that they should like consider like carrying forward, because obviously they're now starting to become more of a father type to a younger clone called Omega.
Right.
So I feel like he's developing that character where he's trying to keep his group together, because obviously there was one member who split off, and then another member went away to help clones, and then can I say the other part of the other clone?
I mean, we'll just say that one of the members is no
Yeah.
longer with them anymore, for better or for worse.
Yeah. But yeah, that's obviously one of my favorite characters. Second favorite, Darth Sidious.
Not surprised there.
Darth Sidious, obviously, because I see myself as a Sith character, and obviously, in terms of, I've basically, if obviously you have seen channels that me and Kano voice acted, I actually have based one of the characters off of Sidious.
Oh.
Where he is sort of like, he seems good, but he manipulates his way into power, and once he has that power, tries to like grasp it whilst manipulating people to do his bidding. Because as well, like he's like one of the most powerful people in the universe. He can take life force from people to keep himself sustained. So Darth Sidious is my second favorite. And third favorite, ooh, one of my favorite. I'm gonna go Han Solo.
Ooh, okay.
He's had such like such a story change. He's been sort of like a Ravenger who obviously has done dealings with sort of like bad people such as Jabba the Hutt, and that's all you pretty much see him as within like the first ever movie, because the episode 4 was the first ever movie. But obviously you see him change, like he starts to have a heart for Leia and wants to help out the rebellion, even though it cost him being hunted down by bounty hunters. And so obviously I like seeing people who have them sort of like changes. So yeah,
yes,
I would say Hunter, Darth Sidious, Han Solo.
Okay, that's a good assessment. I respect those decisions. Mousie, what about you?
Oh, well, big Star Wars fanatic
Such
over
big
here.
stars. Yeah.
Yep. Young Anakin Skywalker because he's hot.
Oh,
the one
no.
who's that child, right?
Wait.
the young adult.
No,
one,
yeah,
right?
yeah, no, the young, yeah,
Which one?
Like
are you
right,
talking about?
like
Hayden,
like
Hayden Christensen, like
Hayden
in like
yeah, like
in
right
Attack of the
before.
Clones forever.
There's two Hayden.
What?
Are you talking about the one who had the braid in his hair?
No.
Okay, good.
Like
Okay,
episode
good.
6?
Episode 3.
Episode.
Oh,
Yeah.
3. Sorry.
I hated episode 12.
But anyway, Anakin Skywalker, older hot boy. I liked Han Solo because I like that he was like a little bit of a.
You're just gonna choose the hot characters.
No, I have another one after. Hold on. But I like Han Solo more for his like character development, as you were talking about. But I'm not gonna just reiterate everything that you just said. But like, I like that he was like kind of an asshole, but he was just like, no, I'm gonna be like a little less of an asshole, and I'm gonna do like the right thing though. So I don't know. I like anti-heroes. I love anti-heroes. And
why do I get a feeling you're just gonna choose Kylo Ren because of one scene where he was shirtless?
I've only seen the first 6. I've only seen the original 6. I haven't seen any of the new. I'm good.
Okay.
From like Kylo Ren is very hot. But no, I forgot who I was gonna say now.
Oh no.
It was I was gonna say Chewie because he's so fluffy.
Oh, it's a good choice. Chewie's a fun one. He's also very loyal.
My third, or my fourth would be R2 because I love his.
Yeah.
He's just funny.
R2's a fun one.
Yeah.
I got you. Then I'll go down my list of 3. There's a lot of characters I could choose from. I think I've mentioned this a few times. I really like from the books, Jaina Solo, one of my favorite Star Wars characters of all time. She is in the books, she is the twin sister daughter. Well, not sister daughter. She's the daughter, but she's a twin of Han and Leia. She grows up to be a Jedi Knight and is really powerful with the Force. Very cool character in general. I love her because she's very Hermione Granger-esque, but more like tomboy than Hermione. And she's got like a lot of smarts, but she's very like mechanically inclined, and she's just a cool character. She's very cool. So I like her a lot. I also am a big fan of the like Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker a lot. I don't like what the sequels did to him, but Return of the Jedi Skywalker, I was like, he is so cool. Like he's the one I want to be. I loved just who he was. I remember I dressed up as him for a book report on George Lucas. I was like, I'm not dressing up as George Lucas. I'm dressing up as Luke Skywalker telling this biography about George Lucas. And so I still love that Luke Skywalker so much. I'm so thrilled because I get to see they're re-showing it for its 40th anniversary this weekend, and I get to go with my dad to see it in theaters, which I'm super pumped about. But I love Luke Skywalker. And then my third favorite character, I was gonna say, has to be from the movies, like the action movies. It's like I love Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith Padme. Technically I love her in Phantom Menace as well, and Clone Wars especially, but like Padme Amidala, her development as a character, as like the parents of like Luke and Leia, like I love her story. I love how passionate she is about caring about people. And like she's someone who's like in the government, but she like fights for like the people, and like she's a senator because she cares, and like she was a queen, but she like became a senator to protect her people. And I think her story is so tragic, but also still so like motivating. Like she pursued what she wanted to, and fought well for like to like keep the Republic safe, and to do what she thought was best. And so I really like Padme as a character, and Natalie Portman as an actress is just so beautiful. And everything she's ever in, I was like, man, she's so cool. And so it's just like, yeah, I don't know. She's just really cool. So those are my top 3 characters, I'd probably say overall. Even though Thrawn would be a very close fourth, in my opinion. Or like Hera Syndulla is another one I would probably put up there too.
Yeah, well, obviously, like Captain Rex is like I would say like 4th for me. But there's one character that I'm glad none of you chose, because if you chose them, I would disagree with you.
Darth Vader.
Oh, no. Jar Jar Binks.
Why would we pick Jar Jar?
I thought about saying it as a joke. I was like, I want to pick Jar Jar as my favorite.
I don't dislike him. He gets too much hate. He gets too much hate.
I hate
He's
him
kind of
with a
annoying,
passion.
you know.
But he's okay though. He's sort of his
Kano.
What?
If you think he's okay, there's something wrong with you.
He's fine. He's totally fine. Okay, just saying. He's great. But all right. Okay, I know time is going fast, much faster than I'd like to admit. But Rhino, do you have a question you'd like to ask from the group of
We're gonna
questions?
power through the game. It's fine.
All right.
Yes.
What video game would you guys be in if you had the chance?
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, is it bad that I would say I would want to be in the world of, I don't know, would it be?
You're not saying.
I feel like it'd be. I was not gonna say Genshin. Don't worry. Even though Genshin would be really cool, I feel like it'd be too traumatic. Honestly, there's a lot of crazy things. I think I would want to be. Yeah, you know what? No, I'll stick to it. I won't renege on my answer. I think I would
Like
want to be
we as people or them, or like we're like working on the game.
We as people, like.
Okay. Like if we were like implemented into the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, like if we were characters in the game, or like we live in that world.
We live in that world. Like we got like teleported to like that world.
Yeah. Then yeah, sorry, I would pick the world of Star Wars Knights of the Republic. I would want to be there. It's so cool getting to be even though they're in the middle of like the Sith War and everything. It would be so cool to get to be there and to like live on those planets and be in Star Wars. I'm sorry, it would be just so fun. It'd be amazing to like live on Dantooine before it got destroyed by the Sith and just be there. Like that would be so cool. I would love that. It'd be amazing.
See, mine is similar, but it's a bit different. I would love to be in the Lego Star Wars Skywalker saga game.
That would be
because it'd just be so fun to not only be Star Wars, but you're also Lego figures. So
yeah, that would be pretty awesome. I can agree with that.
Oh gosh.
Mousie.
I think it would be really cool to be. I just had it. I had it. It was a toss up between like The Witcher, and something else, but it's literally I've lost it completely.
That's fine. Actually, you know what? I changed my mind. I love Star Wars a lot. I forgot about the fact that the Bionicle video games exist. I would be in the Bionicle world. No question. That would be my choice. I love Star Wars. I'd pick Bionicle over Star Wars any day.
Oh.
If there's a choice. Sorry, Star Wars. I was like, nope, you're right. Bionicle.
It was Harry Potter Legacy. I haven't played the game, and I know there's a bunch of controversy around it, but I just love Harry Potter so much, and like I love fantasy that like I would just love to be in that world, you know.
Fair.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to be. I would write my own story. I wouldn't want to be written by a transphobe.
Yeah, see, that's fair. That's fair.
If I could write my own story, then I would do it.
If I could make my own Harry Potter, then I would choose to do this.
Well, what amazing answers, guys.
Exactly. That was great. And you know what? If you have any questions to ask us, then feel free again to use the live ask link or write in our Discords, and we will put it here as a question we shall consider for the future.
Opinions on everything that we've talked about so far. You can also tweet us and let us know in the Discord.
Exactly. Put comments down of anything that you think is cool. There's so many options you can choose from.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's my turn, baby. It's time for the game. We're going to try and power through this as fast as we can because we unfortunately have an obligation very soon. But it's okay. So, don't have a name of the game, but essentially it's pretty similar to the Genshin one that we played, but it's like a variety of video games. So I have quotes from different video games, and you need to tell me what game it's from, or I should say, but there's additional points up for grabs if you can tell me the name of the character who said it. So baseline, tell me the game, but if you tell me who said it, you get an extra point. How we play the game, when there's two people is we wait until you both have an answer and then you both say it at the same time. I'll let you know who's right. You can ask me for one hint. And you can ask me something specific, but I'll let you know if it's too specific and we'll give you a different hint instead. So, the first one is you will not kill my allies. What game is it from? I started off with a hard one.
Yeah, start off with one that's basically generic.
Yeah, I was like, there's a lot of people who can say this.
I can give you a hint.
I mean, I'm curious to see what hint you have. At this point, I feel like we're both going to scramble a little bit.
Yeah.
So it is a game where you play 5v5, and your objective is to go head to head against another team. And you all have abilities to help stop the other team from planting a bomb.
I think I know what game it is.
Okay.
In fact, I think I'm just trying to remember its name. What's its name?
Actually, for you mentioned that, now I'm thinking it might be this other game, but it's a similar concept. So I think I know the game. I don't know the character's name though, because I don't play this game often enough to know the character names. But that's okay. I should know the game.
What's its name? There's two games it could be, but I'm gonna. Oh, I know what game it is. I know.
Okay. Yeah. You ready? Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1.
League of Legends.
Valorant.
Kano is right. It's Valorant.
I thought it was League of Legends as well, wasn't it?
I mean, technically both Riot games, but
that's true.
Different category though.
Yeah, the one that I pulled was from Valorant. But Rhino, if you want to steal a point, you can try and guess one of the characters. You can say no if you don't want to.
I know.
Okay. All right. So Kano has 1 point. Rhino has 0. On to the next one. You guys should get this one. I feel like this one's a little bit easier. Yeah. All right. Want to see the scooping room?
Yeah, I know exactly what this is. It's not even a toss up.
Rhino's like,
You can always ask for a hint, Rhino, if you want.
I'm gonna need a hint.
Okay. Very popular game that many YouTubers have made successful role plays off of.
That's a good one.
Successful role plays off of. Okay.
You could say it's one of the most dominating role play games in the role play community, like YouTube role play community.
I'm gonna hazard a guess.
Okay. All right, I'll count you down. 3, 2, 1, go.
FNAF sister location.
Okay. So you both get a point because it is FNAF. Kano is more correct because it is sister location. But I will give that both to you.
I know the characters.
Okay. Rhino. It is FNAF sister location. You want to guess the character? Who says it? The quote again is, want to see the scooping room?
Sister location. No, not gonna guess.
Okay, Kano.
It's super easy. It's Circus Baby.
Okay. Kano has 3 points. Rhino has 1. Let me actually do this so I know. 1. Where am I typing?
Because you put it from the answer text, so it's not going to show.
Oh, here, I'll just write it down at the bottom of my own thing.
Well, no, I'll do this. I got this. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I
fixed it right. You're welcome. I knew what you were trying to do.
Thanks. Okay. All right, next one. Quit now and cake will be served immediately.
I think I know this.
Okay.
I just got.
Kano, do you need more time?
I feel like I know this, but a hint would be appreciated to confirm my opinion.
Okay. You. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a hint that won't give it too much away. You can play this game single or multiplayer, and it is a puzzle-based game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Involving...
Yeah, I'm pretty
It
sure
confirmed my theory.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, it confirmed my theory.
Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Portal.
It is Portal. I think it's from Portal 2, actually. I think it's from the original Portal. But you both get a point because it is Portal. All right. And can you guess the character?
I think I know
Yes.
it is too. Because there's only one character that
Yeah.
really talks in that game in the first
Yeah.
place.
Well, there's actually 3 that talk in the game.
Fair. Yes.
3, 2, 1, go.
GLaDOS.
Yeah, nice job. Okay, so Kano has 5, Rhino has 3.
Yay!
All right, the next one's a bit longer. So I'll just get on with it. But number 4. It's a funny thing how so much can fall apart so fast. We never really had control at the studio. Either you were in someone's pocket or you were putting someone into yours. I just wanted what was promised to me. I just wanted to be beautiful. Surely you can understand that. Henry, why are you here? We're all dying to find out. Do you enjoy the terror of the drop into hell? Because in that case, hang on tight. I've got a surprise.
I know exactly where this line's from.
So I think I oh, it's
There's 2 keywords in there that will pinpoint.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna hazard a guess rather than get a clue.
Okay. You want a clue?
Ooh.
I'm gonna hazard a guess because in case Kano, like, it will confirm his theory.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So, all right. Okay.
Thank you. I don't even have to have it for this one. I know it. I guarantee it.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Enough.
Bendy and the Ink Machine.
Kano is correct.
So I was thinking.
And I know the character too.
Okay, well, I'm gonna let Rhino have a chance to guess. Steal a point. If he wants to. Would you like to try and guess the character from Bendy and the Ink Machine? Who said this? I can read it again. And I can give you, you still have your hint. You want me to give you a hint?
I don't think even the hint's gonna help me because I don't know much of the Bendy and Ink Machine. If I remember correctly, Henry's, I think, is it Bendy?
Kano, what's your guess?
My guess is Alice Angel in chapter 3 at the end of the chapter when Henry's going up the elevator and then it suddenly
Jeez.
drops down.
It is Alice.
Yeah.
Because the keywords were Henry, or sorry, there's 3 keywords technically. One was studio, Henry, and beautiful.
Yeah.
When I heard Henry, I just thought for that.
Henry Afton.
Okay, so Kano has 7, Rhino has 3. All right. Last quote. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
Oh, yeah, that's specific.
It's such an iconic line, and yet I don't know the game.
It is a
which makes me
very
so mad.
famous line.
So
Is it?
famous.
Yes.
I mean, it's famous in a lot of games.
Well, yes, they bring it back. I feel like this is where I will use my hint just to give me the right ballpark, because I feel like there's so many games I think of immediately when I hear this line, but I know they're not the right one.
All right. Your hint is that the main character wears green.
Okay. Oh, it is this game. Okay. I thought it might be, but I didn't know for sure, so I had to double check.
I don't know if that's a good enough hint. I could give another one, Rhino, if you want another one.
There's only one character I know where it's green, but I don't think it's that character.
It's me, Luigi.
It's
That's what I'm
me,
thinking.
Luigi. What would be another hint?
Oh, I can only think of two characters.
Here's a hint that I would give, which I think kind of confirms I know what it is. The character of this game can also be found in a popular fighting title amongst many characters that hail from the same development company.
Okay, I think I know what this is.
Okay. All right.
I don't know a specific game, but I'm gonna hedge my bets on one of the specific games.
Oh, good. All right.
Yeah.
So 3, 2, 1, go.
Link
Legend of
Breath of the
Zelda,
Wild.
Link to the Past.
It is just Legend of Zelda.
Ooh, okay.
So you both get a point, but it is from the very original, and it is When You Get Your Sword.
Ah.
Now.
Yeah, it's like I feel like I'm familiar with this line. I just didn't know for sure.
It is so famous because it is one of the first like I don't know. It's a line from the game that is just like a staple, I guess, in all of the Zelda games, where it's like, it's dangerous to go alone. Take this, and then they give you a sword. And like other games like took it, but I'm pretty sure it's originally from that one.
It makes sense from the original, the OG game.
Yeah. All right. Now, this person doesn't have a specific name, but who said it?
I only know two characters from Zelda.
Would it be? I might just specify a character in general and just give a guess. Is it the Great Fairy?
Rhino, what's your guess? Is that your official guess?
I'm just gonna say Zelda.
Okay. And your official guess, Kano, is the fairy?
Yeah.
Well, you were both wrong. The character is Old Man.
Oh. Perfect. Iconic. Old Man.
Literally, that's the name of him. He does not have a name. It is just Old Man who gives you a sword.
Stupendous.
I know, it's great.
It's all right. I still feel validated. I knew those games.
I tried to pick popular games.
Yes.
The Valorant one was like a little selfish because I'm like kind of into Valorant right now.
Yeah, which character is that from Valorant that says that line?
It was Sage.
Okay, the healer.
When she ults, she says, "You will not kill my allies." And like,
so I'm pretty sure I thought I've heard of it in League of Legends, because I definitely heard like sort of like the main narrator going like, "Your ally has been slain."
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
stuff like that. Yes.
there's stuff like that. But yeah, that was a game.
Yeah,
freaking out. I guess
that was fun. So you did a good job.
Thanks, I appreciate it. But anybody else who's playing along, let me know down below your scores. We want to know how you did in the game. And yeah, let us know about everything else that we talked about. And the questions, like I can't speak today. What are some of your beliefs in life? And what are your top 3 Star Wars characters? And all that lovely stuff.
Right.
Thank you for joining us, Rhino. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Rhino.
I hope you had a good time.
I did indeed.
Hell yeah. You can check out more of Rhino over on the Dr. Kanoka and RhinoDragon channel. You guys stream every Sunday, so you can catch them live over there.
That we do.
Yeah.
You can also see, if you want to see other things Rhino's been part of, he was part of the Good Looking Gamer Freddy channel, Minecraft channel on YouTube. He was in the most recent series alongside me. We did a mystery series there, and he played the character Monty. He's hysterical. So you can also check him out there because he's got a lot of screen time in that channel as well.
Heck yeah. Well, I had fun today, and as a reminder, this is our last episode of the season. We will be back in 2 weeks. I personally am. This is our break week anyway. After, and then I'm going on a vacation, so we will be back after that to talk about more lovely
Exactly.
stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you guys know. Well, actually, no, it'll be NDA, so you won't know how our trip went. But
That's
you'll,
true. Yeah, I gotta draft
yeah,
that. I
fair
kid, I kid,
choice.
I kid. But anyway,
Yeah,
guys, thanks for joining
yeah.
us.
Just thank you for joining us, guys.
Yeah, be good
Yeah.
people and do good things, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Say bye, Rhino.
Bye.